Welcome back to the Parent Cafe podcast. My name is Allie,
I'm Sarah.
and we're joined today by a friend named
What's your name?
Hi, I'm Lisa.
Lisa. Lisa's a friend of ours, and we have her on here today because we were wanting to pick the brain of a mom who is freshly returned to work.
She's a noob.
So,
Yes.
I haven't even left work, and I'm dreading coming back. So I can only imagine, and we're going to find out all the juicy details of home life and things that have had to change.
Yeah, coming back
Mm-hmm.
and leaving your baby. I think it's hard leaving because you're going from a familiar territory into an unfamiliar territory. And then once you come back, you're doing kind of the same.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to expect at each stage. So like right now, you know every day when you go to work what to expect. And then when you go home, when you're going on mat leave with this new baby, you have no idea what to expect.
Mm-mm.
And
That's
right
kind
now,
of-
everything running in your mind is like, am I going to have everything in order for when I'm gone? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
First question. How long of a mat leave did you take?
I took 14 months. So originally, everybody asks you and you're kind of forced to think about it because at the beginning of taking mat leave, you have to tell the government so that you can get EI.
Literally right away.
Yeah, so right away you have to say, okay, am I going to take the 12 or 18 months? And I was thinking, well, I'd rather take the 12 because I kind of had in my mind that I would take a year because the 18 months just came in, I think, in 2018.
Because I had Abby in 2018
Oh.
and it had been in a year or two before that. So maybe like 2016.
Okay, still fairly recent. So, but it was so nice to know that the 18 months was available. And then I figured, okay, if I just make it work, so the paperwork says I'll be gone for 12 months, legally, I still have that 18 months to take.
Right.
So by the time it was coming up to July, I think it was April, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's April and I'm going to be going back to work soon. I'm not ready. I want to spend time with Ravenna a little more.
Yeah.
And then, but there was all these different pieces that came together why I chose to take an extra 2 months, mostly timing. It was the summertime.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's a
wanted,
really good reason.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a 100% acceptable reason to not go back.
Yeah. Because like to me, if you have a summer baby, they're just kind of like getting into that like fun 1 year, like sitting up, doing all the things. Maybe they're starting to walk or something. And it's like summertime. Like
they're just getting fun. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to explore more with her and take her to the beach and, go to the mountains, go for a hike and experience all those things while I figured I have that time anyway. Let's just use it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And why not? Yeah, I think like I know most, like even myself, like I say, okay, 12 months, like I plan on it, but my coming back would be like timed to the beginning of November, which is like sad and boring. So
couple months left of the year.
yeah, it's like, do I come back? Like
mine was
push it into the next year.
Mine was beginning of December, and then I was like, oh, do I just wait until the new year, right? Because I'm like, oh, but then I'm like, do you know what, the Christmas time is so easy and relaxed to get back into work. Like it's so slow, you get so much holiday time, like so it's kind of just like an easy transition time that you're kind of off and you're kind of not.
You're back, but you're on vacation again, like instantly.
So I was like, okay, it'll kind of work for flow wise. So
I
chose that way.
I guess we should also clarify, like for the people listening, we all have like a 9 to 5 type of job.
Yes.
So like the things we're saying may not apply to everybody, because I guess like there's a lot of people who wouldn't even get a mat leave.
That's totally a fair point, because I think like that would make a huge difference for people when they come back and when they don't. Like if you are doing like days on, days off, you're doing nights, you're doing weekend, like that's tough. Like I would love to hear someone's perspective from that. Anyways,
I
close.
used to work shift work, so I'm just thinking what I used to work at before. It would be really hard to coordinate and to find somebody
like for
after
childcare.
normal hours. For childcare is what I'm thinking mostly about.
Like when you get back to work kind of thing, that would be I feel like that would be very like nightmarish. Because even now with a lot of childcare, it's kind of hard to find people who like work beyond 5 or 6. Like, you know, for like home care, it's kind of weird. Like it's very hard to come by that someone's like, oh yeah, we'll take kids from like 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like
it's where family is so important and comes in handy, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Someone
I actually do know a friend who works long hours. She could be working 12 to 16 hours, but she made it work so that she could pick her kids up at 5. She had that opportunity, but it was a struggle to get there for sure.
There is also positives we should mention. Like I feel like to me, it gives me a sense of like self, like that I'm doing something for myself, and that like I'm not just like doing everything for my children, right? Like I can go out and I can do this, and I'm still able to do that, and I'm away from the house. Well, not really working from home, but but you know what? Do you know what I mean?
Your career aspect of that's still a big part of you. Like you're a mom, but you also still have that career motivation, and you can have both, and it's a nice thing to have too. So
and you deserve to have it too, right? Especially like you've worked all these years to do those things, and if that's what you want to do, and so totally okay that like some moms like they would rather go back to work. They're like, please get me out of this. I don't want to even be on mat leave. Like that's fine.
Yeah. I used to think I was going to be that person.
Yeah.
It's funny how everything that goes through your mind, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to, raise my kid this way, or you see somebody else parenting and you're thinking, I wouldn't do it that way. Right. And then, you get to it, and then you decide for yourself and realize what's best for you and your family at that time. And then, and then everything you said just goes out the window most of the time. So.
I know. Follow-up question then. What were you most excited about coming back? Like, so getting off of mat leave, what was like the most exciting thought, I guess, for you?
Oh, that's a great question.
Were you excited? I guess it's like even better. Did you have an excited thing?
Well, I think I realized it when I started working that I could go to the bathroom alone, and and nice. I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really nice.
So simple.
There's no interruptions, nobody pawing at me or anything, and I'm just thinking, oh, it's a little too quiet, but I know, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Like bodily function freedom.
You don't know that you've missed it so much until you've actually done it again. You're like, wow, this is what this is like. I like this.
You're just kind of waiting at the bathroom door. You're waiting for someone to knock or something. You're just kind of like,
am I allowed out now?
Yeah. Is anyone going to interrupt me? That's
a
good
hand
one.
under the door?
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't expect that.
No.
But I
well,
like it.
Me neither, until I started working, and then I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, this is freedom.
That's amazing.
And you can just get up and go. You don't have to like, okay, like let's put you in front with this toy, or like where's dad, or like figure it out before you go.
If you're going number 1, you just stick her in the bathtub.
Yeah. Like I was gonna say, like bathtub would work too, I guess.
Yeah. Until they start to crawl out, they realize, oh, there's a ledge here. I can climb out of this.
What was the thing that you were like the least excited about?
Oh,
And
I
you
know
can
this too.
have as many answers as you want.
The least excited about going back to work?
Yeah, just like ending your
Okay.
mat leave.
This is another thing that you realize when you start work is, okay, so 14 months I was on mat leave. You're spending, or I was spending every day with her, playing with her, interacting, building blocks, reading books. And yes, I still do that. But the biggest thing was I only have you for a short time in the morning and then a short time after work until it is dinner time and then bedtime routine. And it's like, okay, 5 days just went by this week, and I feel like I hardly got to play with you or just like see you, and I feel like I missed so much. So just like from seeing her all day to going in little increments, I didn't really like that.
Do you find that because weekends are precious, like that you are trying to jam pack so much into it?
You feel like, oh, after she's in bed, you can get that done. But then by the end of the night, you're just like, I just want to watch reels all day or all night or watch a movie and not think about anything.
I am not cleaning the house after 8 p.m.
I'm not cleaning that.
No.
And for like the first couple days back to work, like I came home and I would clean the kitchen because in the morning it was like a frantic rush to get ready. And then I'm also grateful for my hour lunch. I get to come and my proximity to work, it's only a short drive. So I would spend that time to clean up the kitchen. And at first I was thinking, oh, this is my lunch break. I'm supposed to be relaxing. But you know what? When I come home after work, when the day's done, I'm so thankful for past Lisa thinking at lunch to get that done. So like I try to do it here and there, but it is tough because things add up much more. Like before I had a routine where I would like do the weekly chores, sweep mop or sweep vacuum mop, whatever order you want to do. and I had a routine where, like mop first, then vacuum. No.
Yeah.
I would have a routine like, oh, Mondays, that's when I would get it done. And over the summer, I had her in daycare or day home for part-time. So I was able to like plan it that way where, okay, she's safe playing. I can like do this, clean everything. Or when my husband's home or off a day during the week, he can look after her. So yeah, it's just like, it's adjusting to this new schedule and I'm still trying to find my groove, but I'm trying to find out those little spots where I can just keep on top of it. And then if it really gets bad.
People have lots of opinions about like moms who are working, first of all. So like a working mom, a mom who takes a short mat leave, like that's always a thing, or doesn't take one at all, because that happens too. And I don't know, like in your experiences, both, I'll include you both in this one, just for our statistics. Have you ever like heard an opinion from someone or like a comment from someone about like whether or not to go on mat leave at all, how long to take mat leave? Like, was anyone ever in your ear?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with probably.
I'm just trying to think, like, I think about people who I know who had like, say, their first child and then came back like after the year or whatever they decided to take, and then went on to like their second mat leave. And then it was like everyone's business. Like, oh, I wonder if they'll be back. I wonder if she'll come back. I wonder if, do you know what I mean? Because it's like, for some reason, after your second one, it's like you probably weren't coming back. Like, why is that an opinion?
I can't remember like an instance, but I feel like I definitely had some that like people were either like, oh, you're taking year, why don't you take more? Why don't you take less? Oh, I would go back before then. Why are you even going back to work? Like, I feel like I had it all, but it like wasn't, I don't know. I can just take that and I like just don't care. So like that's easy for me, but some people that's not, and that like puts a lot of pressure on them. So I feel like I did get it, and from like all angles of each thing, like no matter what I chose to do, it would be wrong. So why, like, I don't know. I'm fine and I'm confident that I'm making the right choice for me and my family. So I'm confident enough to do that, but some other people might not. So I think that's hard for people if they are getting that unsolicited advice. So
Yeah.
what have you,
Especially if you
your
can't
dream?
take that much time.
Well,
Like,
exactly, right? Like
yeah.
some people
Well,
cannot.
I had to take Ravenna to, that's my daughter's name. You guys know that, but for
Everyone else.
I had to take Ravenna to the emergency one time, and because she ate rocks.
Oh yeah, I remember
no.
this.
She turned out fine. But I was talking to the nurse.
That's
who was
another
helping.
episode, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I would like to know more.
The nurse who was attending to us, she said, because of the pandemic, her husband lost her job, so she had to go to take mat leave, or she had to go back to work early. So like not everybody even has that choice, even though it's available. It all depends what works with your family. And yeah, to answer your question, I did also, as Sarah did, got every angle and aspect of it. But I think most people who spoke to me about it, they said, take all the time you can because it goes by so quick.
Right.
And now after this amount of time, I feel like that is true. It does go quick.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's one comment. Yeah, take all the time you can, for sure.
I've been hearing that, but I think because when I first got pregnant, I had that attitude where like, but that's just me too, and you guys know this about me, but like I honestly was like, I don't even want to take mat leave. I'm just gonna like have a baby and my mom can take care of it and like it'll be fine. And that was like just my stupid like
I was gonna say literally we've had this conversation.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm like, okay.
Well, I know you guys know that's why I'm saying that. Hello. Like, so it's just like one of those things where, you know, I kind of went into that first. Like, I was like, oh, whatever. Like, as if I need a mat leave. Like, that's just going to be boring. I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to like hate it, whatever. And then I guess like having that attitude, and then people who know me are like, no, like, you're going to like it. Like, you're going to take a mat. And now I'm like, okay, can I start tomorrow? And I'll like be back never.
Maybe.
And like it's completely changed. Like I've flipped. So I don't even know. I feel like I'll get to the end of month 12 and be like, Levi, like yeah. Do you want to just like work and I won't? Cause you know,
it
is like pick up another job.
Once that baby comes out, honestly, or almost is like ready to come out, like your whole mindset changes. And that's what I hate about like having to choose your mat leave length like right at the beginning, because like you're a new mom and like you're not like you don't know. So like when you're instantly having to make that choice, like you don't know in 1 year what you're going to want to do. So
exactly,
that's tough. They should give you a little bit longer at least.
It kind of reminds me of like when you're in high school and you're like told to basically pick a direction in life.
Yes.
And you're
what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
And you have like 2 weeks to decide which university you're going to. Or college.
You're like 17 and they're like, okay, pick your major. And you're like, what? Like, what's a major? First of all, like, did I even get into any schools? Like,
did I even apply? I don't remember.
Yeah. Did I even apply for school? Like, what is this? Do I have to pay for that?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many other questions I would have rather than like pick your major. So I just feel like it's the same. You get to month 12 and you're like, okay, I'm out of time. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. And you've made that choice, like, or like you try to make the best choice. And honestly, if you go back and you don't like it, you can always leave.
Exactly.
That baby's still going to be there. So
what do you feel for your family? So like your family unit and like just your family as a whole. What do you feel is like the biggest loss that your family experienced by you going back to work?
You go first, Lisa. Do you know?
The biggest loss my family experienced by me going back to work?
It's a deep question.
That is a deep question.
The first thing that came to my mind was time. Like, we just lost time together, time doing things and that we like together, basically time together, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
I'd
do you
have
get
to
so
agree with
deep?
that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, just like I was saying earlier, like you're so used to spending so much time with them all day, and then you realize, oh, it's actually only a little bit here, a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that affecting or changing my daughter? Like, they're easy, they adapt. but
Yeah.
but it's yeah, if you want to go that deep, we can go there.
You know, when you got pretty quiet there, I knew you were thinking, but then I was like, I hope I'm not going to make her cry.
Oh,
I know. That's where I am like.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I think about that a lot because it's like your family, I guess, even in like a larger family unit, let's say you have like a few kids, and it's like, okay, you're going back to work. Everybody in your family is experiencing it a little bit different. So, like, for your husband, he might have his own opinion. And as much as it's like to support you, like, okay, you're going back to work. This is great. Like, hopefully he has a good attitude about it. But I mean, he might not. Um, but like, if you know that's the case, the husband's supportive, but then at the same time, he's probably experiencing like loss himself because it's like, oh, like my wife is such a good mom, like hopefully the baby still gets that care, and like you
Mm-hmm.
know, like it just kind of like trickles
I
into
think
like
they
every level
experience
of your
that.
relationship.
I think the dads experience that anyway because they're like, think of it, they may not be able to take as much time as the mom.
Yeah.
So they are at work all day for the times that they're like, that first year is so crucial with development. So
Mm-hmm.
even that time there, it's it's a loss to them because they don't want to be at work. They want to be home.
Yeah.
I mean, some dads want to be home and see those
Yeah.
moments, and but like they just know, like, no, like one of us has to work to keep this family afloat. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What
oh, okay.
did you do to prepare to come back? Like what
That's a
did you
That's
great
a
find
great question.
question.
helpful?
You asked the right person for that. um so I like to give myself a lot of time in preparation. I don't know if it's just a planner aspect of me. Um, I'll like
We'll link
prepared to
it
go back
later.
to work. Yeah, it started actually before she was born
Oh
when
my
I
goodness.
started
Okay.
preparing for this. So basically, to think about when you go back to work, you need childcare, and often you need to give them ample time if you're going to go to a daycare or a day home or anybody who's taking care of your kid. So I had that set up a year in advance because usually with that there's wait lists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was actually for July that I was on the wait list, and I didn't go back until September, but I used those 2 months of the summer to slowly integrate not just my daughter into day home, but for her to be away from me. So it's a lot for me too. I started that putting her in there for part-time and then getting into a routine, and then just kind of getting used to that and having her accustomed to, the new kids, new caregiver, because I didn't want this to be like happening a week before I started work. I know myself, I'd get way too stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the learning curves happened well before I went back to work. And by the time I did come back to work, I didn't feel as stressed as I would have been. But at the same time, there's still, like, you can prepare as much as you can, and you can prepare for the worst and the best and every type of scenario in between. But there are still things that you're just thinking, oh, mentally, that I wasn't prepared for that. So, yeah, I was happy to integrate her into day home a little earlier. Um, and then And then it was just, yeah, it was just easier flowing once I started work. And then, yeah, that was pretty
I think
much.
that's a great tip for parents. Like,
Yeah.
I used to work at daycares and I've seen the kids that have just been like thrown in, that they didn't get to come visit. They've just like, here you go,
Oh,
mom
yeah.
leaves. And it's like, it's so hard. Like they don't understand that mom is coming back. Or dad, whoever's dropping off, they're just like, you're gone. Like, so to have them there just a day or to visit, and you stay, or you maybe you're there for an hour, like just to have that security, and just for them to know, like, yes, I am always coming back. You're safe here. This is where you're going to be. This is where I'm going to be. Like, just communicating with them, like, it just transitions them so much easier, and they actually get to
Yes.
fully understand it. Then you're just like, here you go, see you later. And like, where'd mom go for 8 hours a day, right? Like, yeah, I've seen both. So integrating them slowly is definitely the easiest way, and for them to cope, because that's a lot of anxiety for a kid.
Absolutely. And even for the mom, because,
Yeah.
when you go back to work, your schedule changes 180. You're not the same person that you were before you left on mat leave.
Yep.
And then you're so vulnerable that first week or two coming back to work, even if like things aren't as expected or said they were. Like when you come back, everything's different, and you tell yourself like, I expect change, I hope it changed, and I want to integrate. But then you go back and you're thinking, oh, it changed a little too much. It might have.
You're like,
so at that point you're vulnerable, and you have all these emotions going on about getting back into the workflow. And yeah, I'm dedicated to my job. I love my job. I love what I do, but there's still things that I didn't do for 14 months that I had to get back in the group. And so even like, it's like, I feel like kids are easier to adapt, especially if they have friends they can go to and they're having fun with all the toys, all the new faces.
Yeah.
It's still a transition to them, I agree. But also I feel like it would have been a big transition for me. So for me, it was better to start integrating both of us early.
But I also think like you preparing her by like sending her off for a few days here and there, like kind of getting into that new routine where it's like, yes, now, because for a small child, like a baby, they don't have that same concept of time that we do. So sending her twice a week for a half day to start, and then the next week you're there for maybe a few full days or like whatever, and you keep kind of increasing. They don't have like a memory of like, hey, wait, last week she only dropped me off for 3 hours, and like this week, like, what's going on? Like, they're not thinking
I'm getting ripped off here. What's
all they know is mom dropped me off and then mom came back.
Exactly. And like and then they like recognize the person that they're being dropped off at, which is good too, because then it's like, oh, okay, like mom dropped me off, mom picked me up, but it's the same. I know this place, I know this person, like I know these kids, and like, whatever. I'm not new here anymore. I recognize these faces, and like their stress and anxiety lessons, but we're so emotional, and as adults, like obviously developed, so we're thinking like, I could see so many, and I'm sure everyone does this, and don't say you don't, because you do, but we're like projecting our anxiety too on them. Because 100%. It's like, because we're like, oh, panic, like I gotta drop them off, and they're already sad, and they don't even know that you're about to drop them off, like,
or you're like, I'm so sad, and then they're like, I'm sad.
And then you like drop them off and they're playing with like Legos, and you're like, okay, never mind, I'm chopped liver, like no one cares about me. But then you're still sitting there crying, like they're gonna miss me once I leave. And then like
they don't.
whoever
the first day I put Ravenna into day home, she's like, bye.
Same. You're like, you're supposed to be sad.
And that's probably more devastating, because you're like, no, cry. Like, just be sad for a minute. Like, let me at least like get through the door and think that you love me.
Right?
Like, come on.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, and then I think like also just as an adult, you're overthinking everything. So even if like you're coming back into the workplace, you're coming back into your role and it's like changed so much, everyone else is likely like aware, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, Lisa's just been gone, Sarah's just been gone, they're coming back, like we have to like help them and like support them and like be there. But then as the person coming back, you're like, okay, I don't want to let anyone down. I better have my poop in a group
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and I
my,
feel like
yeah.
no one expects like you on your first day to like write like a 10-page
Like,
report or like whatever, like just spit all this stuff out, right? Like,
wow.
Oh, absolutely.
not.
I honestly, I had to tell myself, I need to be kind to myself and I need
Yeah.
to embrace this
Patience.
transition
Yeah.
and be patient, because I know it's just me that's wanting to, you know,
dive right
So,
in.
do the best I
yeah.
can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I'm thinking, you know what? No one's going to expect anything coming back.
No, and
A
it's like
lot changes in a year, right?
and you're
And
coming back with a good attitude. It's not like you're coming back like, I don't even know if I want to be here. Like, it's like, I'm coming back with a good attitude, but there's like
Yeah.
fear associated with it. Your child's in childcare full time, like full time. Now it's like the real deal. You're actually away at work, not at home where it's like, okay, can I get her early today? Like, so like it's just different. But because I know something Lisa did that she should share too, which is like a super good
Oh,
idea for planning.
Before, I was just gonna say,
Oh yeah,
but you're also coming back with a child you didn't have before.
that's
So
true.
your whole life has changed. So you have all like the child care, like, and you actually have to
yes.
leave. Like you can't just like stay late. Like I have to go pick up my kid. Like I do
Yep.
not have a
See
choice.
ya. It's time to
Yeah.
pick
Yeah.
her then up.
So
Yep.
those things, like those expectations before, have changed too. So
See, and
Yes,
I
you're absolutely
wish I
right.
had that to look forward to, but because my kid will be with my mom, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm not going to leave on time.
but then you do because you miss them so much.
Well,
sometimes. Some days you're like, you can stay.
Yeah, unless they're a brat, then I'm going to be like, you can live with your grandma forever. I'm never picking you up again.
No, you just set yourself a time then, and
yeah, or it'll be like,
or your mom will be like, I'm done.
I'll be like, you bring them to me, because like just be in the alleyway at work and like, just be holding them like this. Like,
I'm done.
Come on, I'm done.
Take it.
Exactly. But okay,
Anyway.
So the thing I was gonna say, because this is everything to do with kind of what you were mentioning about your planning, but I'm gonna say it like a Friends episode, that time where you timed yourself.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing that up.
It's good.
Do you know what? I already know.
This.
I already know because I did the same.
You
I already
did?
know what it is.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Okay. I think.
I totally timed myself.
Tell us about it.
Okay.
This is like good information. This is not like nerdy. Like, this is great.
And if it is nerdy, it's great because I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I had my parents from Ontario visiting, and I was trying not to worry about going back to work. It was kind of a nice distraction not to like think in depthly about all the or have all the anxieties like going back to work, right? And then I was telling them like, I'm gonna time it, and my parents were like, we're gonna time it, we're gonna do this. They were like full support. So yeah, we did that it lasted 2 days, but after the first day I was like, oh, I got this. But I think even doing it for that 1 day a week before starting, it made me feel so good, because I thought, wow, first day I got here at work at 10:02, like, woo,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
Did you physically drive there and everything?
So what we did was, so she'd wake up. Do you want me to tell you actual time?
Yeah,
sure.
like give us your timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm used to waking up at 5:30 every day anyway, which is also actually a great transition if you have to work early at work. If you're already getting up early for your baby, you just never have like sleep in again. That's all. So it's kind of like a nice transition that you don't change your schedule.
Sounds great.
So yeah.
Okay,
so
my baby
5:30,
sleeps
I've been
in,
getting
so I
up
can't.
over here. What's that?
I said Abby sleeps in, so I'm not like
Oh, really? Yeah.
that. Yeah. But anyways, I wish I was. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, Ravenna, like she's an early riser, but
Mhm.
I leave her in the crib to wake up on her own for half an hour, and she's like playing with her stuffies. So yeah, I wake up at 5:30. I do. I'll go through the routine too. The night before, I do my hair because it's very long and I have curls to attend to. And so that's done in the morning. Oh, and I take a shower at night, right? A lot of people are wondering, like, is it better at nighttime or in the morning? For me, I love morning showers, but nighttime is way to go
so
for
much
me right
easier.
now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So 5:30, wake up, my hair's already pretty much done. I do my makeup and then get breakfast ready at 6:00. And then by the time I get Ravenna at 6:30, and then she eats. So well, she wakes up, we kind of read a book and then change her diaper. And then we go and I feed her in the kitchen, breakfast. And then I let her play after, and by about 7:15, by this time, like during her playtime, I'll take her in my bathroom and like I'll get ready. And then I walk to the day home. So it's a 10-minute walk down my street. And then I drop her off. And then I walk back, put on my work clothes, and then drive to work. And then I'm there for 10 to 8.
You're so organized compared to me.
I need a walk because I realize I wasn't really walking the last couple months or like exercising, really just doing like some push-ups and planks. And I'm thinking, I used to walk a lot. What happened? So then I forced myself, like, this is the routine I'm doing. And then obviously like that did happen when I first went back to work, like the walking, but there have been more mornings where I just drop her off and went to work, which is fine. But I make sure absolutely every time I pick her up, I go home first, change into comfortable clothes, and then walk and pick her up. And then we go to the park because I bring a snack and water for her. And then by the time we get home, it's dinner time. So yeah, I know. I've like overplanned it.
No.
But you are like just naturally a planner too.
Honestly, before our conversation tonight, I looked up some like things, like some tips and stuff, and practice your new routine was on like every list. So
oh, great. Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's like your new routine coming back to work?
Yeah, like just to like your whole day routine, like practice that whole routine, like even like picking up the kid and making dinner, coming home, like doing all of those things, practicing those things to just make yourself like feel less anxious and prepared. Honestly, like if I just like was winging it, like I usually wing a lot of things, honestly, but like that I was like, I can't. No, someone else too, right? So
well, yeah, and then I guess it would get hard because do you have to pack food for the day home?
My old one I did, and then but my new one I don't. So
yeah,
that cut my time like by 15 minutes because.
So new one, no, and Lisa, yours, no?
No, it's so 2 snacks and a lunch are provided.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, well, you pay for it.
Yeah.
Like it's integrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worth it.
In the fee.
Worth
it.
It is. I packed because Abby went to her auntie's before, and it was just I thought it was easier to just be like, I'll just pack her a lunch, then you don't have to buy extra food. She eats a lot. Yeah, no, I hate packing lunches. I don't know how parents do it, like every day for school. No.
You know what? That's actually hard for me too, Sarah, because like after I clean the kitchen after dinner, I'm like, oh, I could have made her lunch for
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have prepared it while the food was all out and the cutting board and everything. So
maybe that's what I've got on you guys. That's my only thing
Probably.
I've got is
Yeah.
lunches. I love
Probably.
making lunches.
You're gonna be one of those moms that do the bento boxes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cutting.
I tried that. I actually
I have one. I have one.
travel.
It's nice, but then sometimes I'm like, well, this just doesn't fit in the bento box. Like, what do I do with it?
You cut it into a heart shape.
But it's like a yogurt, like in a yogurt container.
You cut
like
it in.
You shape it with cookie cutters.
Scoop it back in. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm gonna be late for work. I don't have time to cut it into a heart.
Honestly, I'll probably just be like, sorry, I'm gonna be late. I'm cutting my cucumbers into star shapes right now.
Sometimes I'd put a whole can of soup in her lunch bag.
There's
lunch. Oh yeah, 100%. She was going to her auntie's house.
True. She can open it up and cook it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like an onion, some like raw rice.
Make it yourself.
Yeah, it'll be like
fry.
It'll just have like how to like right on top.
It would be like, no.
DIY. Here's your hot plate. Don't forget to turn it off.
That's something when your kids older and they're complaining about something and you have to tell them, well, okay,
do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Routine is probably the thing that maybe going into having a baby and like you have a different routine when you start, right? So like really once you have your baby, your routine is not really a routine. It's just like repeat of the same thing for like a while because it's like, okay, eat, sleep.
But is it? Because it changes almost every day.
I know.
Literally.
But like eat, sleep, poop, repeat for a few weeks, and then like something else gets added in there. Then there's a random bath here and there, and then like cheating, like and
learning
so
a new
then
skill.
You're transitioning to because at some point maybe you're going from like bottle to or breast to formula or you have to do it earlier because you're not like producing or whatever, and then it's like okay, bottle only, or you're pumping and you've got a ton, and then you're like thawing milk and feeding and like all these different things are being thrown at you, and then your baby starts to get older, and so then I wonder at what point you're like, okay, like can I start to create like a solid routine that's going to make it easy for me to go back to work? Because it's your child's going to change all the time.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a certain time you can, because like it's so unpredictable, but like just practicing those things and like getting them used to those new environments, I think is really the only way. Like you can't set a schedule, like an hour, like at 9 a.m. we do this, like as long as like the flow of the day, I think, is similar. Is that what you mean?
And they like consistency, right?
Yeah.
I know. I agree with what you're saying, Sarah, because the consistency of it, like once Ravenna sees her sleep sack, she's like, oh, it's bedtime.
Oh, bedtime. Yep.
Yeah.
But then you have to transition out of those sleep sacks, right? Yeah. So like then that's a whole new thing.
I want one.
I
want one for me.
I also want one. I'm like, I hate it. I'm like, no, she'll never want to get out of this thing.
They make them pretty huge.
They do, but it's hard to find them bigger sizes.
18 to 24 months.
Yeah, I think that's about when I transitioned. Was it 18 months? No,
I saw like
before 20.
I saw a 24-month sleep sack somewhere on like online.
They do, but I'm so picky. I'm like, no, I don't like how that zips. I don't like how that buttons. I'm like, I'm just like too picky. No. I'm like, it's not the same.
You're right to be picky for that stuff.
Right? Yeah. They're annoying.
Yeah.
But I transitioned her out. I just said, oh no, it's dirty. Like we have to use a blanket tonight, and then I let her pick a blanket, and then like we never even thought about it again. And like she never thought about it again. Yeah. So it was just like
out of sight,
everything I thought about was gonna be hard transitioning. She was like, no, I'm fine. Like I don't
ended up being good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I don't know.
What about you said that Abby sleeps in. So how did that affect your routine in the morning?
Oh, some days she like I have to like wake her up and like it's like 7:30. I'm like, you need to get out of bed now. And that's, but I think that's more so when she's like teething and having like harder nights and stuff. Cause we did go through, she was just getting all her like 2-year-old molars. So she was going through like getting like 4 just like back to back. So we were having some tough nights. And that's kind of when I noticed she was sleeping in a lot more because she would be up in the middle of the night and stuff like that. But usually she honestly like 7 o'clock, that's usually when she gets up normally. Like I'm a late, like both Brandon and I both like to stay up late and then like sleep later. Like we're not morning people at all. Like if I don't have to get up, I wouldn't. But I wish I wasn't early. Like I wish I could get up at 5:30 and be like, yes, let's do this. But I see 5:30. I'm like, that's not a time of day. Like, no, thank you. So I don't know. I don't find it, because that's always been our routine, that it doesn't affect it too much. But I also find I don't see her as much in the morning. But she also stays up a little bit later than what I would consider for like 7:30, but still at her age, maybe it should have been earlier. I don't know. It works for us though. So that's, I don't know. It works for us.
I don't know that there's necessarily like a hard and fast rule.
No, as long as they're getting like their recommended hours of sleep. Yeah. And she always has. So
her recommended 14 hours of sleep.
It's like 10 to 14. So I'm like, she's like 12.
See you next week. I'm sleeping in.
Oh man, some days
all
she
week.
does.
Yeah.
On the weekends, I like obviously don't set an alarm, and I'm like, oh, I'll just wake up when she does. And some days she's like, I'm awake and she's still sleeping. I'm like, okay, like I need a reason to get up.
I need a purpose to so continue living.
Like work, like I have to get up for work. I have to get up to like, because my child's up. But like, it's not like before I didn't sleep in like all hours of the day or anything like that. Like, but I'm like, okay, like, oh, okay, it's late in the day, or it was like 10 o'clock I would maybe sleep into, if that, before. But I don't know. But now I feel like I am just regularly getting up before like 8, and I'm like, okay, like this is, I need this now. Like it's just becoming more regular, I guess. Like 8 is like, if I sleep in too late, I'm like, ugh.
Okay, so on that,
is that confusing?
I have like a wrap-up question then. Considering your routine and like what works best and how they behave and then what you prefer, if you could choose like the time that you work, so if it was like 6 to 2, 7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, like 10 to 6, what do you think, like for your child specifically, in the routine that you've kind of come up with, like what would be like ideal for you? And then like, then you're coming home at the time you want to come home. Like I almost feel like Lisa would be like a 7 to 3.
A 10 to 2.
4 hours.
Let's make it a 4-hour work.
Lisa's got a part-time job now.
Put it all in one day. Yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours. 10 to 2. Actually, that's perfect. I'll go 11 to 3 for mine.
Yeah. I would say that, yeah, like honestly, I'd rather get up and get it done with, and then I have the rest of my day. So like I would do like, what's that, like 7 to 10, 7 to 11?
More productive in the morning.
4-hour shifts. Like, what are you guys doing?
Would way rather prefer that. So I guess 7 to 3.
Yeah, it's still like 7 to 3.
I would, yeah, I'd rather get up and just get it done. Like I said, to be forced out of bed. Like if I was having to get up at that time, I would.
And then you're home earlier.
And then I'm home earlier.
Yeah, like I would like to be home the earliest, because then I don't know, it's just that feeling like, okay, you've got everything done for the day. Now it's a relaxing mode.
You actually get time to relax and like
then you're
spend
also
time.
Maybe the same thing, like you now have more time at home with your child, because it's like, I know maybe it's only an hour, like, right, like when you think about it, but then it actually feels like way more, like any day that you kind of come home.
Oh yeah,
like when you like maybe started early so you finished early, and it's like for some reason that like additional half hour feels like 3 hours. Just like, I've been home forever.
Yeah, like even though like in the morning, like I'm with her for like an hour or whatever before we get ready, like while we're getting ready, we're still getting ready. We're not like playing and having like, she plays while she gets ready, but like I'm still doing like the regular things. like drinking coffee, feeding the dogs, making breakfast, making lunches and stuff
the
like
regular
that.
chores that still need to be done.
Yeah.
Those suck.
They do.
I don't want to do all of it.
I contemplate hiring a cleaner like every day.
I know. I talk about it all
I
the
don't
time.
want to do it anymore.
I know. Can we all just like make a motion to go get a cleaner?
They should just put that in like our benefits.
Only for people.
That would get well
children.
used.
I would use it a lot.
Man, yeah, like they
can
could
that be put towards like a
I don't know, but they got to figure that out. That's
like instead of going to a dietitian,
yeah,
get a cleaner.
Like instead
mental
of
health.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like I don't need a
mental
counselor.
Health.
Like, you know, everything in my mental
I need someone to organize my house and clean it up. Make my life easier day to day.
And then my mental health will improve.
It's true. I think we're onto something here.
I think so. I would definitely add that to like the benefits.
I'm gonna write that down.
It's proven actually kids who grow up in homes with dogs have are less prone to having allergies or sensitivities to some foods. Yeah, or even kids who grow up on farms versus in city. Yeah, like they're exposed to more microbes outdoors, so they become more resilient that way.
I heard that too, and like my dogs love eating cow poo, so
perfect.
Your kid will too then. Perfect.
Yes. It'll be a great
give a nice big old lick up the face.
Yeah. It's gross.
One of my friends, she was saying, because she's a new mom too, and she lives on a farm, and she was saying how her daughter ate chicken poop. And I said, that's actually great. Great for her immune system. Don't feel bad about that.
No,
could be way
have
worse.
allergies in 10 years.
Yeah, seriously. Well, yeah, that's just kind of what I picture too. It's like there's just going to be dirt and whatever. Something's just got to be let go of, especially just for, like you said earlier, Lisa, just to be kind and patient with yourself, because it's like you're not going to be able to do everything, and that's just understandable. But
and then that ties into what you're saying about even overthinking about that stuff, and then showing that anxiety to your baby. It can imprint on them. So always being aware of that.
Yes, that's true too. You just like projecting your feelings.
Yeah, I wanted to actually go back to about the sleep routine and waking up. I used to actually be the person to sleep in, and I could sleep for 10 hours. But ever since having my baby, that definitely changed. But I kind of like tricked my brain in a way at the start of it when I was starting to wake up at 5:30. I said to myself, going to bed early is like sleeping in.
Yeah.
So
totally.
I feel like even I used to be a night owl. Like I would love to stay up real late and then sleep in. But then I just try to tell myself that I'm really sleeping even if I go to bed early. And it works most of the time. So
yeah, I do that too.
Tip if anyone wants to take it.
Yeah, I think going to bed early is magic.
Oh, I love going to bed early, but I also feel like that's my time to like do what I want to do by myself.
You're like alone time.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel more productive in the evenings, but I also I've always been a night owl, so
yeah, I find I end up folding laundry at night. So I'd rather go to bed.
Fair enough.
If anyone has some recent going on mat leave or coming back from mat leave experiences,
or doing shift work with mat leave, or a different kind of
or just maybe not even being given mat leave, that's something that I don't know. I know that there's some families will have where their spouse whatever job or wherever they work, they may have an opportunity to take paternity leave.
Yes.
And then wherever mom is working, I know this kind of applies to people who do massage therapy or something more that's you're kind of running the show. Maybe you rent a room, but you're the clients are your own, it's like your own business, like essentially. So like no one's giving you mat leave.
Oh yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So I know like those situations happen too. So I'd just be curious to know like how you end up deciding. And then it's like, would it function the same? Like, do you give yourself like a calendar year and like just take it easy, pull back? Maybe you work once a week and you arrange childcare that way. Like, you know, like how do people navigate it if they don't necessarily have like the same kind of opportunity to just like dip for a year, like
see ya,
peace out. But yeah, so like if you have an experience like that or just something similar or not similar at all, or on like the very contrast, like if you didn't even want to go on mat leave and chose not to, I think that'd be really interesting to hear too, because that'd be very possible. That was me, or I thought it would be.
Or if you were like, if you're maybe an older listener and they didn't really have mat leave or it was very limited.
How did that work?
I always hear, well, my mom would tell me she only had a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think my mom had like 6 weeks or something like that. I couldn't imagine, like, you're still healing after birth. Or
even pumping at work. I mean, a lot of people experience that, and just for me, like, I wouldn't want to.
No,
but I know I would.
And it's in the movies. Like, that's always in the movies. You have like the lawyer that's like back at work, and she's like a mess, pumping in the bathroom, like. That's always in the movies. And then I feel like people get that from the movie and they're like, ugh, is that what mat leave, like, is that what coming back is like? Like, I'm just going to be this mess in the bathroom. Like, I mean,
no, you'll be happy to go to the bathroom by yourself, like Lisa.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the
don't
reality.
Listen to the movies. Listen to Lisa.
Yeah, don't listen. You're gonna love that freedom.
Yeah.
People will probably think you're doing something else in there, but it doesn't matter what people think.
Having a nap. Soaking your feet in the sink. You're just like, this is great.
This is me time.
Yeah. All of this, you're like bringing your desk chair like into the bathroom, like rolling down the hallway, like, just going for a foot soak. Be back.
Be right back.
Yeah. Do it on your coffee break. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so if you have a story like that, we keep going on a tangent, but you can DM us on our Instagram at Edson Parent Cafe. You can send us an email to edsonparentcafe@gmail.com. Oh, forgot that one. Or you can text us at 780-517-7055, or just honestly message us anywhere else, you know, like where to find us by now. And thank you, Lisa, for spending your time with us and letting us pick your brain.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
Good.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Thank you.